up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all. I gotta remind you guys, it's last time before I get into this topic. Today is the last day of the holiday giveaway. So if you have not already, make sure you are checking the videos from December 4th up until today, December 22nd, to check for those keywords. There were 3 videos with keywords posted throughout the video, and you had to go ahead and comment those in the comment section to have an entry to win a $50 Amazon gift card. So again, today is the last day. The keyword might be in this video, it might be in the last video, it might be in the video before that, but you gotta watch the videos to find out what the keyword is. So we're gonna be doing the draw on Christmas Day. We're gonna announce the winners, and yeah, it's gonna be a good Christmas, y'all. It's gonna be a good Christmas. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Now, last week in my Toya Reacts video, I briefly discussed the new law that was passed in New York City mandating that the apps pay delivery gig workers a certain rate. And we kind of just scratched the surface of that. There are actually a few more things that I wanted to go in detail, but I didn't want to draw out that video too long. So that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about today. But before we get into what's going on and how that can affect the future, let's talk about how we even got here in the first place. So as gig workers, the number one complaint that a majority of us have is we're not getting paid enough for the work that we're doing. And yes, it's a simple job. Most of the time, you're just picking up items and then dropping them off. With food, you're just going to the restaurant, you pick up the order, you drop it off at the customer's door. That's your basic level of gig work. After that, you got catering, you got package delivery, and a handful of other gig work that you can do. But the argument is always the same. Why am I not getting paid enough for the work that I'm doing, considering I'm using my personal vehicle to do this work? All of that money that I'm making, it's gonna have to go back into my car. And realistically, people are making less than minimum wage once everything's all said and done. So unfortunately, a lot of these gigs, we tend to rely on tips in order to make the order worth it. Now, we have this whole ongoing thing with people not wanting to tip because, you know, the service fees are too high. They don't believe that they should tip before the service is complete. And, you know, it's a combination of things. I've heard all the arguments about tipping, right? But that's just the reality of it. People simply aren't getting paid enough. So yes, they have to end up relying on those tips more than they would like to. People say, why don't you just get another job? You know, it's not sustainable. If you shouldn't be relying on us to go ahead and pay your wages. And yes, while that is true, getting another job might not be an option for some people. And it could be for a variety of reasons. It could be for health reasons, job availability in their area. Maybe that flexibility of gig work works for them versus having a 9-to-5 job. You never know. Everybody's situation is different. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that a lot of these gig apps are exploiting their workers. And there have been some places that have been trying to do something about it. Insert New York City. They have been fighting for this mandate for a long time. This isn't something new. This is years in the making. But they finally got this law passed to force these gig apps to pay the workers a reasonable wage. And honestly, it seems like it's been great so far. I've been seeing this screenshot kind of float around where somebody had stated that they only made like $40-something and some change at the end of their day, and their app ended up giving them additional pay to meet that minimum that they are required to pay. Their total payout ended up being about $200-something, and I think it was after maybe 6 hours of work. So yeah, when was the last time that you made $200 after 6 hours of gig work? And of course, you know, it depends on where you live, your market, and all of that, right? And keep in mind, this was just food delivery. So no catering orders, no Amazon Flex, nothing like that. Strictly food delivery. So right now, in this current point of time, people need to take advantage of it while they can, because I don't think it's gonna last that long. I really don't think it's gonna last that long. And thinking about it going into the future, imagine if this becomes a nationwide thing where these apps are gonna be forced to pay a decent wage. And no, it's probably not gonna be that $30 an hour everywhere. You know, it's probably gonna be in those big cities. You know, maybe Chicago might have 30, maybe 25. Some smaller markets might have 20, 25. You know, it just kind of varies. everybody ain't gonna have no $30 an hour though, for sure. But yeah, even if this is something that does get rolled out nationwide, I highly suggest that you guys take advantage of it, because it's not gonna last long. Because even what's happening in New York, that's not gonna last forever. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a few more months. I would say probably by the time the summer comes around of 2024, it's gonna be a completely different climate over there, because these companies cannot afford to pay their drivers this much money. There's a possibility of a few different things happening. One, which I think is kind of already happening, is they're gonna start deactivating people like crazy, and they're gonna find any little thing that they can in order to get you off that platform. I've heard that multi-apping is no longer gonna be an option over there, simply because if you're late with doing a delivery, they have all the reason to go ahead and get rid of you. You know, you got some people that's probably trying to capitalize even more, try to make 45, 60, maybe even more an hour, and it's just not going to be possible, because if one of those apps sees that you're being late on a delivery and they're like, hold on, you going in the complete opposite direction of where you're supposed to go, what you doing? You know you ain't supposed to be multi-apping. Boom, you gone. So yeah, they're definitely gonna be trying to find any type of way to get people off that platform, because they can't afford to pay everybody. They really can't afford to pay everybody. So they're either gonna do that, or they're just gonna spike the prices like crazy for the customers. And people, they're still going to use the services, but I can only imagine how many more people are just going to abandon those apps, because they're already paying a good $15, $20 in fees already. Imagine if that price doubled. Ain't nobody going to want to go ahead and pay for that. So people are going to stop using the apps less and less, which translates to less orders. And then of course that means less work for the drivers. The drivers are just going to be sitting around waiting for an order to pop up that's never going to come, because nobody's ordering. So yeah, that's kind of where I think things are gonna go, because like I said, they just simply can't afford to be paying people $30 an hour moving forward and not be feeling it in their pockets. I know they feeling it, and I know they brainstorming as we speak, trying to figure out how are we gonna go ahead and cut these costs. But regardless of what they decide to do, first of all, if you in New York, y'all better be out there hitting them streets, running it up right now. Get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot. Now, for us in the future, if there is going to be regulation, if your city or your state decides to pass some type of law mandating that the apps pay you a certain amount, you better take full advantage. You better be taking full advantage. Shoot, if they were to go ahead and release something tomorrow and said, if you're doing deliveries in Chicago, you're going to be making $30 an hour. Y'all know I don't do Chicago deliveries, but I'ma sure go out there and do some deliveries for $30 an hour, man. I'm telling you, because that's like a once in a lifetime experience. You got to take advantage of those little victories when you can, because like I said, who knows how long it's gonna last. Now, there is one thing that I think a lot of people aren't really talking about yet, and that's just the fact that there might be other people upset that gig workers are making that much, and they're doing a job that probably requires more work technically, and they may not necessarily think that it's fair that they're making that amount of money. Now, I've heard the same argument when they were making $15 an hour, the minimum wage in Chicago, and people were just livid. They're like, how can you have these kids working at McDonald's? They're making $15 an hour. You know, I'm making that amount, and you know, I've been at this job for this long. I'm an admin. I'm this, I'm that, you know. And it's unfortunate that, you know, it really does suck. It really does suck. You know, you kind of just have to take that up with the company. You know, that's the same argument that people told us, right? So yeah, if you're not happy with your pay, take it up with your company, find another job. Sarcasm, you know, I digress. But I can see that same argument, people saying, well, I don't even make $30 an hour. You know, I do this. I've been doing this for years. This is my trade. Or, you know, I've been in this office for however long. And I get it. Again, I get it. But a lot of people still seem to forget that all of that money isn't being pocketed to them. One, they're gonna have to pay taxes on this later on. That's another thing a lot of people aren't talking about, is those taxes. And like I said, also those expenses with the car. So honestly, they might really only be coming away with just over 20 an hour, maybe that much. Now, if you're on a bike, because I've seen a lot of people that do food delivery on bikes, you ain't got to worry about maintenance other than, you know, repairs on your bike, which I can still assume are going to be much cheaper than, you know, owning a car. You know, you ain't got to put gas in your car If it's an electric bike, electricity is nothing compared to gas. So yeah, you probably are saving quite a bit on the expenses there if you use a bike. It's still a tough argument. You know, I still personally think that everybody needs to be paid fairly across the board. And I can understand why some people might think that a gig worker, somebody delivering food, you know, that might be pretty steep of a wage for them in comparison to, you know, another job. Obviously, keeping in mind that they're not making a flat 30 an hour, just 30 an hour. You log into the app and you're on the clock. No, this is per order that you get. So active time. So while you're waiting for an order, no, that's not when you're getting paid. So yeah, technically you're not really getting paid 30 an hour. You're just getting paid 30 an hour based off of the active time of you working. So I guess it kind of evens out. Now on the outside, you know, you seeing delivery driver that delivers food getting paid $30 an hour. Yes, that looks crazy. But when you actually dive in to see, you know, what that entails, it kind of does make a little bit more sense. But there's still going to be people upset regardless. You literally cannot please everybody. But yeah, like I said, you just got to go ahead and take advantage of it while it's hot. That's really all I can say. At the end of the day, the company is going to find a way to get back on top. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like in the future. What are they going to roll out so they can be more profitable? Because right now they're losing. The only thing that I could think of short term, I guess, would be the potential of them limiting the amount of hours that you can work. So maybe they say you can't work more than 4 or 5 hours on a daily basis. So, you know, they don't have to dish out so much money. Or like I mentioned before, you know, deactivating the drivers. You know, sometimes these people can get back on the platform, sometimes they don't. But you just got to go ahead and be smart about it, especially if this is like your primary app where you're making money. Do not do anything stupid to get yourself deactivated, because they're trying to find any and everything that they can to get you off that platform so they can save themselves some money. So please, 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 please be very wary of how you're utilizing these apps. But yeah, only time will tell, you know, what's going to happen in the future, but definitely needing regulation across the board. We definitely need regulation. But yeah, I'm telling you, if something comes out in the future that benefits you, y'all better be running DoorDash's pockets. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, take advantage while you can. Take advantage while you can. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Now, what do you guys think about wage regulation for delivery drivers? Do you think that it's beneficial, or do you think that it's going to lead to even worse conditions for delivery drivers in the future? Let me know in the comments. Now, before I go, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.